Good morning, and thank you for joining us for our Financial Fortitude webinar. To our visiting sorors, I am Soror Barbara McGiffrey of the Hattiesburg Alumnae Chapter. Welcome. And to all of our visiting friends, thank you all for joining us. And if it sounds like I'm excited, it's because I know what awaits us. We have a dynamic panel of experts with us on this Saturday morning that's ready to give us all the tools that we need for getting our businesses off the ground. Now, just a couple of housekeeping rules. Please refer all questions and comments to the chat box. While we may not be able to address all questions prior to leaving the meeting today, do know that they will be addressed. And please also take advantage of the contact information that will be available on the screen. And now I'm going to bring on a woman whose heart is all things financial wellness. And that is none other than the director of the Area Development Partnerships SEMCIC program, and that is Ms. Callison Richardson.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Barbara. I'm so excited to be here. And ladies, I just want you to know it really is an honor and it's a joy to be able to share this information with you and to have been invited to do this. And I'll tell you just a little fact about me. I am also a Greek woman. I am a member of Alpha Delta Pi sorority. My very first job out of college was working for this sorority. I traveled the country, visited 50 chapters all around the US, and have since been an advisor for chapters and a very involved alumna. And I'll say that I would credit my professional development and my leadership skills to my sorority and what they built into me. So I am excited to be here with some other sorority women. I believe in the power of sisterhood. And so thank you for having me. I want to tell you before we jump into this a little bit about how we got here. So it's hard to believe that we're here today because we have been talking about this program with Barbara since the fall. And it actually all started out of a conversation with her about a new report that had come out called The Business Case for Racial Equity. And I'm going to put the link to this in the chat box for you guys that want to check it out. But in there was a really key takeaway, which was that when it comes to racial equity in terms of entrepreneurship and employment, it was clear that people of color are actually more inclined to want to work for themselves and to be entrepreneurs, but they're often have less access to capital and to training. And so I was talking to Barbara and I said, look, we have a small business lending program. We have special rates for minorities. This can be a tool in our fight towards having a more racially equitable society. And so that's where all this started. And she was like, girl, I want you to come speak to my chapter, to my sisterhood. And then it just sort of grew. So we're so excited for all the women who are tuning in today. I actually think there are some men in the room too, and we welcome you as well. So let me tell you what we've got in store. Today's program is meant to just give you an overview of the pathway to starting your business. It's going to introduce you to the assets we have in our community. We have some really core assets, and we have some really great people who live here who can help you start a business. You don't have to go it alone. And so I want you to know that there are real people and they're ready to help. So I want to kind of just tell you who our folks are here today. So just to give you an idea, we're not telling you how to write your business plan today. We're not telling you how to get minority certified. We're giving you a high level overview of this pathway from start to finish. And our goal is that you're going to walk away today with some really specific next steps. So our first quick program is going to be Miss Rita Mitchell. She's a certified business counselor at the Small Business Development Center here at USM. So she's here in our community, and she's going to talk to you guys about the pathways to successful businesses. Then I'm going to come back and talk to you about financing. And I've got a program here that I'm going to tell you a lot about, but there's also some other options. So we're going to help you figure out how to pay for it. And then the last program we've got is our friends from the Mississippi Development Authority, the Minority and Small Business Division, Derek Finley and Dr. LaTanya Lewis are going to talk Rita Mitchell from the Small Business Development Center, and she is going to be get you up here. I think we're trying to get her camera turned on. And so, well, there we go. All right, Rita, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for that warm welcome, Callison. And the first thing I want to say before Ms. Stancy starts my slide deck is not only welcome, but thank you. Thank you to all the sorors and all people listening today. Your community of sisterhood is known for service above self. And this is something that all of us on this panel thank you for. And that's my first launch place, is to thank you for the privilege of presenting to you. Also, to thank you for your incredible service through your group, and of course, the way you draw and live the fabric of your lives. Thank you for the privilege of joining with you today. Pardon me. Next up, because this is an intro slide with all of my information. Our slide decks will be shared with you, so you'll be able to have these resources and all this information. What is the Small Business Development Center? We are powered by the SBA. We were begun in the 80s because we had a failure of small businesses. They were opening because interest rates finally got below 10%. I know that's hard to fathom, but they were closing. Then President Ronald Reagan told Congress and the SBA, we need us some boots on the ground to help people know they have a dream, they have an idea, how to formulate doing their own business. So the majority of our funding, 50%, consistently comes from the SBA, the rest from our colleges and universities and community colleges. Some of our business development centers are in municipalities like City of Jackson, Copiah, Lincoln, and there are new affiliations coming up. And of course, tax dollars, both state and federal, contribute to our services. I'm elated and overjoyed to report that Small Business Development Center services in Mississippi come at no charge. And I always say we're a very popular, high value, no charge service. We're very, very busy, but we're very devoted. We utilize our services to reduce startup failure. Out on one's own, the failure rate keeps creeping up, which distresses us. With help, with leadership, with outline, with all the caveats and all of the positives, all the suggestions we provide, our failure rate, I hate that word, our failure rate is under 14%. Just a little quick overview of what's gone on this year. We know that this has been a year like no other. America's SBDCs have helped millions of small businesses with COVID aid. In the midst of it, we've still created 6,000 new businesses, generated billions in sales, created jobs, and we have saved jobs with aid, access, and counseling. Okay. All right, next up. Okay, great, lady. What do you do? This is what we do. We are qualified, vetted, no charge business counselors. I am not alone. I have a smashing co-counselor, Don Calcote, who is really connected to what Callison is going to speak about. He has been a lender and he has owned a chain of branches of small banks. So he is totally in the know and a perfect foil to me. In the USM office, we have offices all over the states. What do? We give assistance in development, data research. We have gorgeous databases, financial analysis, branding. It's not just a business, it's a brand. Not just your launch, but your vitality, your viability, growth, and sustainability. We've been working on buy sells recently. A lot of our community do not want to move into primarily digital services, and so they are selling their businesses. We've been doing a lot of that, franchising that's not around, and business expansions. A number of our very visionary business owners took the time that was mandated closed to either expand or remodel or reformulate their businesses. So we've been working on that. You heard me say we're boots on the ground for the SBA. We also share, as Callison mentioned, an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our expertise, our connections, loan packaging, and just like the resources that are on our program today, we connect with premier resources, lots of them no cost. If we suggest someone in the private sector, there's someone who has done a great job for our small businesses. Therefore, we feel confident referring them. And we generally give a deck of 3 suggestions for whatever function we're after. You see on the right of this slide, we are always doing workshops. Before COVID, they were in person, on hand, real, and great forums. Today, because of our COVID restrictions, they are online and on demand. Good news for everyone on this group, because you can access them at any time. You see the link at the bottom. That is our statewide website, and you go to workshops, and you see this is February, so that's good for today and tomorrow. A new deck of workshops will roll up under features, but always accessible is first steps, business plan, and cash flow. Like Callison said, we're not going into the nit-grit of that with this. We're giving you a 30,000 feet overview today. Next slide, ma'am. All right. This is my favorite slide. If you wanted to have a slide you copied off and printed off and put on your pillow while you're working on your business, this is the one. Simon Sinek, visionary leaders start with the why. And for so many of our clients, the why is burning in their heart, running up and down their spine. Gotta do, gotta do. Then we approach it systematically. This is my favorite deck. Who will you help? What will you improve? The next 2 statements are the most primal. Why do we need it? And how many dollars will it take to begin? That's going to be Callison's department today. And then in our COVID universe, and I heard Derek reference this when we were talking yesterday, planning for this. When is the best timing? Timing is going to be vital in this post-COVID world that we're all tiptoeing through. So if there's one place for you to ask this, if there's one mantra to hold, it is this slide. And the primary is start with the why. The caveat, the danger part is, why do we need it? Therein, and why do we need it and how many dollars is where so many circumstances fall off track. The top 2 reasons for the last 3 years of businesses not moving into viability and sustainability are the market did not respond, no market for the product or service, and lack of capital, not enough capital to move from launch to viability and sustainability. All right, there goes your pillowcase slide. Next up, now we're getting into the crunchy part, basic components. An accountant, and usually when I say this in a huge program, I actually hear groans. Oh, as unsexy as that may sound, an accountant and an attorney for specialty issues will not cost you money. They will save you money. You're looking at someone in the first 5 years of her biggest business. I stepped over dollars to save and torture dimes on this by doing this on Sunday afternoon. When I made the decision to hire it done, my business grew by double digits. So I'm meaning and I'm feeling what I'm saying. Insurance agents, to cover the liability that you see, we remind you as a group of what you don't see. Your lender is not your adversary. Your lender is your partner. So many of my clients say, Miss Rita, I can fund this myself. I do not want a loan. No. I'm a millennial. I learned to distrust banks. No. Please know that the way America was made is with your community lenders partnering with great people, great ideas, and then great execution of business planning and financial good sense. So once again, we have to sometimes get over our initial about doing things. Of course, we're going to write in your SBDC counselors and give ourselves a shameless plug. Remember your team. Past you What do you need? What is not you? If you're a person like me, I'm up front of the house, out there, planner, goer, doer. You need a detail and somebody to watch your back and to have those back details. Your team is critical once it moves past you. And then a laser radar focus on your clientele and who you want as your target market. Next slide, please. All right, this is a busy little slide, but after talking with Stancy Callison, Mr. Derek, and Dr. Fiona, I included it so you would have it as a resource. This is a panel that tells you all about what is involved in business formation and which you need to choose. We recommend you consult your CPA or attorney, but this gives you food for thought and food for study so you can move your formulation from your feasibility study or your hobby or your idea from can I do this to how can I do that. That's one of my favorite phrases. Move from can I to how can I with this launch pad. Okay, ma'am, next slide. Okay. The do's and don'ts. And we need to pull this slide into perspective. I see she's bringing it up, but I'm not going to focus on the don'ts today. I'm not going to focus on that at all. We're going to focus on the do's. Innovate, create, start something new. We're back to the who needs this and why do they need this and who am I going to help? Innovate, even disrupt. Ask for outside advice. That comes hard with the most of us. We're going to power this on our own, by golly. Well, I like inviting you, and sometimes it's what we call your frenemies that you ask, but we'll explore the ways to ask for advice to successfully underpin. Have a solid plan. You don't go on vacation without a plan, buy a house, buy a car, educate your children, do important things. You must have a plan. Hire the best and keep them engaged. It takes more than money. More on that in a bit. Then build strong relationships, clients, suppliers, peers, and beyond. You all see the don'ts. You have the slide for the don'ts. The most important don't is don't underestimate constant financial management. But I'm going to leave the don'ts to your study. Next slide, please. All right, innovate. Please get going. Innovation is a constant mindset, any more than we give birth to children and go, ta-da, I'm done there. It takes a constant invention and reinvention. And the place where I ask our businesses to be is disrupt yourselves before somebody disrupts you. So you see all the methodology there, but innovate. For goodness sake, start fresh. Next up, next slide, please. We're going to be moving on here. Ask for outside advice. My trick as a business person was if I wanted somebody to be my client, I asked them to be on my advisory board. It worked great. And you're thinking, I'm talking a little bitty business. What do I need an advisory board for? Yes, you do. Get yourself people that you want as advisors and clients. I cannot express to you how key this is. And then you see the stat, 34% of the businesses that grow the fastest have advisors. Next slide, please. Have a solid plan and have a way to measure and manage your progress. I'm always asking, where do you want this to be in 3 or 5? What's a SWOT analysis? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And then keep checking. Am I on track? Next slide, please. Hire the best, keep them engaged. And remember, it's not just money. It's culture. It's how you pull their gifts and talents into the goals of your company and where you want to be. Inclusion would be my most important word, not dictating, not just setting forth tasks, but inclusion on decisions and pathways and benevolences even. Next slide, please. Building. You are building, just like that old hymn says, we would be building. You're building client relationships, supplier relationships, peer relationships, and you're as good as your record says you are. Keep building and adjust. I try to remain strongly affiliated with, but always examining our suppliers' veracity, profitability, and their relationship, how well they answered my client's needs. And it's painful to part company, but sometimes you have to. It's painful to say you're wrong and you needed a supplier, but you have to. Very important key. Next slide up, please. Please feel invited. I want to invite each and every one of you all to become a client. It costs no money. This is the panel you'll see on our homepage. My co-counselor, Don Calcote, and I talk with burgeoning entrepreneurs every day. We are leading, it's a parallel line. Right now, the office has 938 clients. That was the count this morning, and we're dying to add you. And the next slides are perfunctory, so we can go through those very fast. We're powered by the SBA, and once again, that is our statewide site. And I want to show the gorgeous slide that's next to show you all the places where we are. We are next door to you somewhere. And I'm going to exit with my great pleasure and privilege of presenting and give this platform to Ms. Callison.
Thank you, Rita. Great job. So I think the takeaway for all of us that are on here is to know the Small Business Development Center is there. It is a free resource. We have it right here at the University of Southern Mississippi. They are one of our key partners when it comes to finding businesses and working with their clients. They get them ready, and then we'll do the loan. So moving right along, I want to talk about financing, and I want to talk about the importance of community support. So let's keep going through the slide. There we go. Okay, so financing your dream. I think Rita talked a little bit about how there are different pathways to starting your small business. There's so many pathways. You know, sometimes people just fall on a business idea, or they know when they're very young, I want to own my own restaurant. There's also a lot of different pathways to financing. And so the things that you need to consider when you're thinking about what's right for you are things like, what is the funding for and how much do I need? So are you buying, is it for real estate, equipment, inventory, operating costs? Those things are going to matter. Another thing to consider is how long have you been in business? You know, are you a startup business or are you expanding a business? And then also look at your current financial situation. How's your credit score? Do you have collateral? And how quickly do you need the cash? All of those things are going to influence what's the right financing for you. So let's keep going. I want to talk to you about the different types of tools. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. There's a lot of different ways you can do financing, but I want to just give you kind of a broad overview. So there's business loans and there's business grants. And a lot of times people will call us looking for the grant. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the difference. So business loans are ones that will have to be paid back, and there's interest with those. The cool thing is that we at the ADP, and this is what I want to talk to you about, is we do have programs where there's lower interest, and there are some that could be a lot of interest, like a credit card or something. The difference in loans are that there's secured loans and unsecured loans. So a secured loan is going to have means that there's something tied to it. So, you know, there's collateral. It may be that people put up a car or a property, or they have something that they're telling the bank or the lender, hey, if you give me this money, this is, you know, this is what you know that it's secure, that, you know, you could come back and get it if you needed to. Unsecured are going to usually have higher interest rates because there's no collateral tied to it. And there's lots of sources for these loans. So, you know, it can be a traditional bank loan. It can be an SBA backed loan. There are these things called CDFIs. We have them in Mississippi. We're one of them. There's planning and development districts that have loans. There's micro lender nonprofits that have loans, and there's online lenders. So there's a whole lot of options. Let me tell you about grants. The truth is that getting a business grant, there are only very few circumstances where that's even an option. So I just want you to know, a nonprofit business, like a nonprofit charity that you're starting that's meeting a core community need, there are going to be, you know, some potential grant programs out there to help you get started. There are COVID relief grants right now for existing businesses, so there's definitely grants there. And then businesses that are focused on like science or research, there may be some grants that you can get from the government. And again, grants you don't pay back. But most of the time, you're probably not going to go out and find grant money to just start a business. So I want you to know that. There are a couple other avenues, things like family, friends, fellows. There's crowdfunding where people all chip in, angel investors, or and all these other avenues. So there's a lot that you can research and learn about. So let's keep going. I want to tell you about our program, which is called SEMCIC. And it's a community investment corporation. It is a nonprofit. So it's a nonprofit. It's run by the ADP. The ADP is the Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Agency for Greater Hattiesburg. And that's where I work. And SEMCIC is actually its own little nonprofit. And the mission is job creation. So we work with business startups and expansions. We support non-traditional loan seekers. And what that means is a traditional loan seeker is someone who really has the credit score, the collateral, maybe some cash on hand. They're financially in a position to be able to go right to their bank and get a really good loan. Well, there are folks out there who have a great business idea, but for different reasons, they may not have all those pieces in place. We can work with those folks. We have an emphasis on minority lending. We have special lending, special rates, and we have special funds that can only be used for women and minority-owned businesses. We've done $2 million in lending since 1993. And one thing that I think is really cool is that we have a board of directors that oversees our program. So while I am the administrative person, we have community members who actually sit on this board, and they're the ones who make decisions. These 6 banks you see at the bottom, those are our bank partners. And so this is just one of the examples of a tool that's in your community. So I'm gonna keep going through this, Stancy. Just keep clicking here. So I wanna tell you, we have okay, there we go, stop right there. Woo, okay, we went really fast. We have microloans and we have gap financing. So a microloan is if you're looking for up to $35,000. Most of the loans that we do are microloans. Right now, I've got 7 companies I'm working with, and 6 of them are microloans. So sometimes they just need $10,000, $15,000 to kind of get their business off the ground. Gap financing, we do those, they're larger, and we'll partner with the bank on that. And that usually involves something like purchasing land. So we can do building, land purchases, equipment, kitchen equipment, inventory, and some working capital. We have different loan terms depending on what you're going for. And the big thing I want to say again is we have special rates and terms for minority and for women in businesses. Let's keep going. I want to tell you, as far as our application, what do you need to be able to apply? I have all these arrows on here because you don't have to do these things alone. So we have an application, but that document is a pretty straightforward, easy thing. It's the supplemental documents that have to go along with it for your packet that take people a little more time. You got to have a business plan. Go to the SBDC for that. Financial statements, projections for your profits and loss, how much is going to come in and how much is going to go out. The SBDC can help you with that. And this is pretty standard for what you're going to see for any small business loan that you're going to be looking for. Let's keep going. So, okay. All right, so I won't bore you with this, but we do get our clients, they come from banks, refer us over. Sometimes someone goes to a bank and the bank can't do the deal, so they come to us. Rita sends us people. Thank you, Rita. We get calls from MDA, and a lot of times people just call us. They hear about our program, they give us a call, and we work with them to get it ready. We meet with the client. Then we work with them to get their packet together. And then we do a lot of internal review with our staff. Then we put it before our board. Remember, these are community members. You probably know people on this board, and they're the ones who are going to decide, yes, this is something we want to look into. And I want to say this. Yes, we want to see people who have, can show that they're going to pay the loan back or that they have a strong business idea, but we also look at your character. And that's why we have these community members on this board, because we look at you as the person as well. Let's keep going. We'll just I want to be mindful of time and get to the end for Q&A. I want to give you a couple of ideas of what we've done. Microloans, the up to $35,000. These are a couple of examples of things we've done. We have a counseling center downtown, woman-owned business we helped start. There's a robotics academy in Oak Grove, a woman-owned business, retired teacher. We just helped get her resources for new robotics kits for kids. We've done nutrition franchises. We've done a women's boutique in downtown Hattiesburg. We also have these gap loans, which are the big ones when I'm talking about. We partner with the bank. We've done restaurants, we've done medical spas, and we have done ice cream shops. So we can work with a lot. But I'll tell you, out of all my 7 loans that I have right now, 6 of them are women owned. All right, let's keep going. So I just want to run through some last minute advice for you to be thinking about when it comes to lending. Plan ahead, do your research. The more you know about small business lending, the more successful you'll be. I want to say this, there's convenience store shopping and there's making my list and going shopping. If you're looking at small business lending like a convenience store, you're going to end up with an interest rate that's way higher than you need, and it's not going to be the right fit for you. If you take your time and you plan out, there are tools out there for you. Go ahead and be thinking about what you look like in terms of a risk profile, your credit score, your credit report. Those are things you can be working on now. What are your assets? So what sort of skin in the game do you already have? How long have you been in business? Those are all things that creditors are going to be looking for. Seek expert advice like Rita and her team at SBDC. Let's keep going. I've got a few more tips. Get your documents in order, okay? Get minority certified. When I said we have minority lending rates, that requires minority certification, and that's what our next presentation is going to be about. Go ahead and get familiar with the documents in our application. You can go ahead and start that even if you don't want to apply for a loan for a few months. Go ahead and get started. All right, I think I've got one more slide here. A few more tips. Okay. Know what you need, know what you have, and know what you can afford. How much do you want to borrow and how are you going to use it? Do you have any collateral and can you make the payments? Those are all things you can go ahead and be thinking about. Be serious when it comes to lending, guys. Communicate with this person, follow up. We're not your adversary, we're your friend. I want to encourage you also to think about your online profile. When we get an inquiry, a lot of times I go just straight to the internet and look these folks up. What are they doing? Do they have a Facebook page? Do they already have a following? And then the most important thing, I'll tell you, no matter where you go to get your loan, is be passionate. So Stancy, if you'll click that slide, be passionate about your idea. That's what we want to see. Stancy, there we go. Okay, so be passionate, and then flip to this next slide. And I want to tell you guys one thing about community support. Over and over again, I'm seeing this. While we are a small business lending organization, you don't have to get your loan here to be able to be a member of the ADP or a chamber in your community. Join a chamber, get connected. I'll tell you, even just this week, I came across this amazing small business owner who got into a real estate mishap. And I really think that's something that we can help with. We can connect you to the right people, and we can help you be successful with all the things that you're going to need to grow your small business. So that was my very fast spiel. And I'm going to turn it over to Derek and to Dr. Lewis from the MDA, who are going to talk to you guys about the importance of minority certification and a few other things.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. And thank you again to Barbara, Callison, and Stancy, the ADP, for inviting us to participate today. We really are happy to be here this morning. On behalf of Governor Tate Reeves, our Executive Director, John Ronceville, and our entire Mississippi Development Authority leadership and staff, again, thank you for having us here today. The opportunity to connect with your sorority, with members of your sorority in this way, on this format. It's been something we haven't done before, but we, again, just looking forward to engaging you today and sharing some information about our programs and maybe how that can help you as an existing business owner or as an emerging business owner. We get the question a lot about what is economic development? What is the Mississippi Development Authority? MDA is the state agency responsible for the efforts of economic development at the state level. We serve under the executive branch of our government, but we can't do our job without the countless resource partners and local community partnerships that we have, like ADP, like the Small Business Development Centers, and so on and so forth. Absolutely too many to name. So when we have an opportunity to share our programs, especially in this format, it's a really good way to tie all of these resources together for, again, business owners and emerging business owners. So at the end of the day, I think you'll be able to see not only how you can be assisted with your business at your local level, but what programs also exist at the state level. Without further ado, I'm going to turn the presentation over to a dynamic associate of ours who joined us and is a fellow soror of yours. Her name is Dr. LaTanya Lewis, and she's actually a member of the Jackson, Mississippi Alumni Chapter, and has been recently newly elected as the Vice President for the National Panhellenic Council's Metro Jackson Chapter. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to Dr. LaTanya Lewis, and she's going to tell you more about the MDA and some of the programs we have to offer. Thank you again.
Great morning and happy Saturday, colleagues and sorors. Thank you, Mr. Finley, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Stancy, Callison, Rita, and my noble sorors for the opportunity to share in your From Dreams to Reality experience. It is such an honor to present Mississippi Development Authority's Minority and Small Business Development Division to you on this beautiful Saturday morning. So let's get to it. Housed within MDA is the Minority and Small Business Development Division, which is the state's advocate and partner for minority-owned, women-owned, and small businesses. The mission of the division is simply to enhance economic development in the state by providing technical and financial assistance to disadvantaged business enterprises in order to help them compete more successfully for federal, state, and local contracts, as well as available commercial contracts. As the state's advocate and partner for minority-owned, women-owned, and small businesses, the Minority and Small Business Development Division seeks to enhance economic development in the state of Mississippi by providing technical assistance, access to financial programs, educational opportunities, and other forms of support. This is done primarily through two areas or bureaus within the Minority and Small Business Development Division. You have those two bureaus listed before you: Business Development and Supplier Diversity, as well as the Mississippi Procurement Technical Assistance Program. Each of those areas I will talk more with you about shortly. Through these two bureaus, the Minority and Small Business Development Division connects minority and women-owned businesses with key industry partners from public and private sectors in order to facilitate networking that may increase opportunities for these businesses. In addition to the overall core functions listed before you, we also help identify joint ventures and subcontracting opportunities and technical and financial assistance to help business owners better compete again for those federal, state, local government, and commercial contracts. Certification as a qualifying minority or woman-owned business can be a valuable resource for attracting new business and identifying public procurement opportunities with schools and government agencies. Obtaining our business certification allows you to obtain a 3-year certification designation and also lays the foundation to provide you with many other resources that we offer. All services provided by our certification department are free to Mississippi residents who are minority and women-owned for-profit business owners meeting the residency and personal net worth thresholds, which actually you see before you, they require you to be a resident in the state of Mississippi, have a minority or small business that is 51% owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals for business certification purposes. And then for financing purposes, it must be 60% owned by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals who have a personal net worth that does not exceed $500,000. The net worth requirements do apply to any business owner or partner who has at least 20% ownership in the business. Reciprocity or an expedited process is given to business owners, of course, who possess those certifications that are listed before you. those being the disadvantaged business enterprise certification through MDOT or the Jackson Municipal Airport Authority, the 8A certification through the Small Business Association, the Women Business Enterprise certification through the Women Business Enterprise National Council, as well as the Minority Business Enterprise certification through the National Minority Supplier Development Council. If you have these certifications at the time you apply for our business certification, then your certification expiration date will mirror the expiration date of these certifications. Advantages, of course, of utilizing our business certification program includes eligibility to apply for minority loan programs and surety bond guarantees. If business certification is of interest to you, then visit our certification website listed before you to start the process. Now, in order to obtain your business certification, there are some steps you must complete in order to get the process rolling. So first, you have to check your eligibility once you visit the mississippi.org/minority-certification website. And in order for you to check eligibility, you'll see a tab there that says, should I apply? All you do is simply click that tab, read the eligibility requirements. If you see that you meet those eligibility requirements, then the next step is simply to click Request Access tab. That is in the same area. Once you click that tab, then it's going to bring you to a form that looks like the one before you. Once there, you will need to create a user profile for your business in order to request user access. Once, of course, this user access request form is completed and submitted, our certification program manager will view it and possibly contact you to verify some information before granting you access and sending you an email notifying you that you are approved and can log in to complete the actual certification process. As you begin and proceed through the certification application process, you will advance to a section like the one on the screen before you, where you will be instructed to download specified required documents. We have provided links to 4 of those required documents on the site. So they're there for convenience. You'll actually be able to scan and upload those documents directly into our certification system. You also have the option of printing and manually completing and submitting the application, as well as those required documents, if you do not have the capacity to do everything electronically. However, all manually submitted documents must be notarized. Minority and Small Business Development offers a variety of loan programs that are available, again, to small, minority, and women-owned businesses. Included are the Minority Business Enterprise Loan Programs, as well as the Capital Access Grant Loans Program. As you see on the screen before you, the Minority Business Enterprise Loans lends up to $250,000 with a bank match. And they also offer microloans with lending up to $35,000. The Capital Access Contract Loans lend up to $75,000 or 75% of the value of the contract. The Minority Surety Bond Guarantee Program provides socially and economically disadvantaged minority businesses with technical assistance throughout the construction bonding process, and also provides eligible businesses with a bond guarantee where necessary. Our aim through this program is simply to increase minority participation in the areas of construction and building trade contracts with federal, state, and local units of government. All requirements listed before you must be met in order to qualify, though, for the Minority Surety Bond Guarantee Program. Some additional services provided by the Minority and Small Business Development Bureau includes oversight of the agency's bid bank, which provides a listing of current bid opportunities at the local, state, and federal agencies level, as well as commercial entities, to ensure that minority and women-owned businesses have access to this information and they are actually aware of contracting opportunities available for them. The Minority Business Registry is a website that we offer, which serves as a comprehensive directory of minority and women-owned companies within the state of Mississippi. And it actually provides a directory listing, search engine, as well as geographic search information for contracting offices or anyone who's looking to do business with minority and small businesses in the state of Mississippi. If you are a minority or woman business owner who would like to be included in this directory, visit the website, and that's www.mmbr.org, and simply submit a registration. Once your registration form is submitted and received, it will be reviewed and approved. Upon approval, you will receive an email stating that your business is listed in the directory. The Minority and Small Business Development Division offers a number of educational programs and workshops to help increase the competitiveness of small, minority, and women-owned businesses. More specifically, we are home to Mississippi Development Authority's Contractors Academy. This is a 3-phase educational program for aspiring small business owners and specifically contractors and those small construction business owners. The first phase of the academy is our signature model contractor development program, which is endorsed by the Surety and Fidelity Association of America that is located in Washington, D.C. This is a 9-week educational program with classes meeting one night a week on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The second phase is our Contractors License Readiness Workshop. It is a 3-hour day workshop taking place from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. It is designed to prepare construction and building contractors for the Mississippi Board of Contractors Licensure and Certification exam. The final phase in our Contractors Academy is our Advanced Construction Business Management Training Program, which is our customized version of Louisiana's award-winning Contractors College. And it is an 8-week training program where classes meet on Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We also provide customized business development workshops where we offer a variety of workshops in order to assist with business operations, growth, and resilience. During these workshops, a host of business development topics and issues are covered with the objective, of course, of contributing to the continued development of Mississippi's small, minority, and women-owned businesses. These customized sessions include business certification workshops, government contracting and procurement workshops, and collaborative workshops with the Small Business Administration, Procurement Technical Assistance Centers, Small Business Development Centers, and other economic development organizations. Due to COVID, all of our classes have transitioned to the virtual format via Microsoft Teams. The Mississippi Procurement Technical Assistance Program is a program to enhance the national defense and economic development of the state of Mississippi by assisting business owners in obtaining federal, state, and local government and commercial contracts. MDA, through the Minority and Small Business Development Division, stands ready to help connect government procurement professionals with local, qualified, minority, and women-owned businesses who can fulfill their procurement needs. Before you is a visual of the 5 regional locations for our Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. As you can see from the map, there are boundaries for personnel in each region or area, but nevertheless, all of our PTAP advisors do stand ready to assist you regardless of where you are within the state. Sorors, if you know small minority and or women-owned construction and building contractor business owners who may benefit from our Contractors Academy educational program, we do have some upcoming sessions in the remainder of this fiscal year that are listed on the slide before you. All of our classes are free of charge, but registration is required for each class or workshop that is offered, not just for this academy, but for our division. In order to register and see what events are coming up within our division in the state of Mississippi, please visit the mscpc.com website, click the events calendar, select the date and event that you would like to attend, register for it, and simply show up. Make sure though that you have downloaded the Microsoft Teams app so that you'll be able to join the sessions. Also, sorors, if you have or know someone who may have a need for our services, contact information for the Minority and Small Business Development Division is listed before you, as well as my direct contact information. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you need assistance or you know someone who needs assistance in their entrepreneurial journey. We are happy to assist you. Okay, sorors, it's been my pleasure sharing Mississippi Development Authority's Minority and Small Business Development Division with you on this beautiful Saturday morning. I will now cast it back to you, Callison, for the panel Q&A.
Yes, great job, Dr. Lewis. I even learned some things in that, so that was even great for me.
Awesome.
What we're going to do now is Stancy, who is the Community Development Coordinator for the ADP. She's running the show in the background, and she's going to bring each of us back on camera, and we're going to kind of tackle some of these questions that are coming in. For anybody who, just to give you a chance, screenshot this slide. This is all of our contact info. We are real people. Rita and I live in your community. Derek and Dr. Lewis, they're in Jackson. We don't have horns. We want to hear from you. We want to help you be successful. You're passionate about your business idea. We're passionate about helping you make that happen. So screenshot that before that goes away. We're going to kind of get into some of these questions, guys. There was a question that Miss Dorothy Jackson put forward, Rita, about her business plan. And it says on here that she's written a business plan, but it's not consolidated or summarized in a certain format. Will the Small Business Development Center help her kind of get that corrected, or is there a template? Can you speak to the business plan kind of creation part, Rita?
Absolutely. And Miss Dorothy, I want you to know that it's not ideal because it needs to be more elaborate than this, but we've started with things written on napkins before and things. So, and Derek, I see him being a bobblehead doll. So we take it where it is and we assist you. We give you, like Allison just said, of course we have a master template that the SBA and we have worked on. And of course, online you can find 5,000, just like when you get on WebMD, you've got all of those illnesses. So, you know, our advice is get with us. That is what we do, a succinct, directive business plan that leads to a financial plan. The business plan is your narrative. That's like your persuasion to your mom and dad or whatever for the money to do something. Then the next part is how much money, why, what for, what's it going to produce. And then as Callison mentioned in her presentation, is everything going to team together where we've got payment going on, payment of the note going on, and moving forward, because the business plan has to be directive to, is this going to generate, is it a business model to generate funds to go forward and become viable and sustainable? So if you've written a plan, sign up to be a client on mssbdc.org. That was on my devices. I don't know if it is the will of the group. I'm certainly delighted for my slides to be shared with this extremely wonderful group so that all those resources are there. And I'm going to mention to y'all, save your chat. All you got to do is click those little 3 dots in the corner of your chat box, save your chat and label it. That way you've got the link that Callison provided and the chat that's going on.
Great. Thank you, Rita. And I think there's a question here for Dr. Lewis and Derek. Do you have to already be a contractor to go to the MDA's Model Contractor Development Program?
No, all of our, the Contractors Academy has 3 phases to it. First phase being the Model Contractor Development Program. That phase program is open to all attendees. So you don't have to be, you don't have to have a business founded at that time. Now the other 2 phases, we have the second phase being a license readiness, which is preparing folks to sit for the board examination, as well as in the phase 3, which is more of the advanced. Now, the phase 3 does have prerequisites in terms of business ownership, but the other 2 phases are open to all attendees. Thank you for the question.
And yeah, that's a great question. And let me kind of piggyback on that. How long does it take to get minority certified?
Great question. And it is a completely online process. So the link that was included in our presentation, please feel free to visit it. It's just at www.mississippi.org/minority-certification. And just as Dr. Lewis said, when you arrive at that site, you'll have the option to see if you should apply. So if just generally your business fits the requirements for the program, and then request access and move forward from there. But once you submit the online application, you then will receive a notice to submit required documents. Part of the criteria requirements for the program depend on determining your status of business, where you're at in business, and where you're located. So there are some documents that we request, but you can upload those documents right to that list. I say all that because that pretty much determines how long it will take. Once you upload all those, or once you submit your application and upload all your documents, we can approve you very seamlessly. I mean, in a matter of moments, if you will. So the key is just and we work with the companies, the applicants as well. If they have any questions about any of the documents and so forth, our local partners, resource partners, small business development centers, they can also work with you in that regard. And that's why we're such a great team with Rita down there as well. And but the process depends on the availability of those documents for the companies.
And the cool thing is that I think sometimes creating those supporting documents, the business plan, the financials, the projections, it feels overwhelming sometimes for small business people because they're like, I'm just trying to get this product sold. I don't have time to do this. All those documents are the same things that we all need. So you create it once. Right. It works for me. It works for the lender. It works for minority certification. It's worth the time. I really encourage you to do it. I want to say this too. Y'all's website, MDA, it's so great. It's so easy to use. Actually, just this week, I pulled the list of all the minority certified businesses in Forest County and Lamar County. And y'all, you can pull it either minority owned or women owned. It was really neat to see these folks on there. These are our folks who took the time. Some of them I knew about and some of them I didn't. So I was like, oh, okay, look, I didn't even know anything about this business. So kudos to y'all.
Like a treasure.
I want to say, yes, great. Okay, we've got a couple more. I've got a couple questions I want to do, and then we're going to turn it over to Dr. Ducksworth. Okay, here's the question. If I have an idea for a business, but I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it'll be successful, but it's an idea I have. Is there anything I can do to test it out? Or what would you say, Rita? You got any thoughts on that?
I do, because it comes to the office every day. This has been bubbling up. We talked about this weekend, or right after a holiday. Our whole family talked about this idea. And so we have a battery. We have some wonderful videos to help chop that question up. And then our incredible databases. We can draw information from SBDC.net on the up and down on things, and then particularize them for the demographics for that question asker. What goes on great in Columbus is not necessarily going to be awesome in Wiggins, and so on. So you got to temper by where are we going to do this, and that you can't just say, I want to start an online shop. Holy moly, there are quadruple digit billions of those. So yes, and then you roll a feasibility study. You start fast and you figure it out fast. And I know we're all sick of this word, but you can take that idea and pivot to what's going to work. Or maybe it has 6 parts and one of it works, or maybe it needs to be all the way out here, but you got to start here. We do all that. We help do all that.
Right. And I would
usually
say
a brilliant self-discovery process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes with folks that reach out to us, they have a vision, or they have a product. Sometimes they already have a product. They have some inventory that they've already purchased, and they just know somebody wants this inventory, like custom sweatshirts or whatever, but they're so anxious about launching because they're like, everything's got to be perfect before I put this on social media. And I'm telling them, look, prove to me that people want to buy your product, because otherwise it's just your word of mouth. It's just you saying, oh, people want these jeans. No, do a little soft launch or something, sell the heck out of that product, and then come to me and say, I had 100 of these, I sold them at this much money, I spent this much. This is something you should invest in. So, believe in your product, put yourself out there. And when you come to us, I want to help it happen for you. So sell me on it. Tell me about how we can get there, because I think this is a great way to build our local economy, to change families, to change generations, to allow more people to work for themselves and to create jobs. That is what our community needs. So
I want to tab on, I don't want to overtalk anybody, but I want to tab on to something Derek said about the minority certification. Lenders like SEMCIC and so on, if you've got the document that you're in process on that helps light the runway. So if you're feeling like the entire enchilada needs to be completed, just have the document of the communication from Mr. Derrick's and Dr. Lewis's office that it is in process, and you can move on. They know it's going to move through their process. So, and
right now, those interest rates, they are extraordinary, because the federal discount rate is so low. It's 0.25%. And all of our loans that we can give out in the program are based off of that. So if our bottom is like so small, you guys, this money is there, and we want to lend it. We want to lend it. We have $1 million for Hattiesburg, Greater Hattiesburg. We want to lend it. Get in touch, okay? Okay, so we run out of time. Dr. Ducksworth is the, most of the folks on this program probably know who she is, but she's the chapter president for the Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta here in Hattiesburg. And we are gonna let her wrap us up. So I turn it to you, Dr. Ducksworth.
Thank you very much, Ms. Callison. So again, everyone, good morning. My name is Dr. Monet Ducksworth, and I am president of the Hattiesburg Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is founded on Christian principles. We do service with a primary focus on the Black community and the constructive development of our members. Hattiesburg Alumnae Chapter's charge is to take Hattiesburg higher, and today's program set forth to do just that. Working toward racial equality, providing the foundation to minority men and women to build generational wealth with the start of a small business. We hope that with your why placed under your pillow, your dreams will become a reality. While you continue to develop your business, I hope that you keep in mind what you need, have, and can afford financially, and also how Mississippi offers support at the local and state levels. This program would not have been possible without the vision and execution of our panelists, Ms. Barbara McGilvary, Ms. Rita Mitchell, Ms. Callison Richardson, Mr. Derek Finley, and Dr. Latanya Lewis. Thank you to the ADP for the platform and the technology support used to reach our audience on today. Thank you to the awesome Economic Development Committee of Hattiesburg Alumni for your very hard work. Thank you to our sorors, friends, and family for joining us today. We wish you much success in all your future endeavors. Again, thank you all for making this program a success, and may your dreams become a reality. Thank you, everyone.